When I came across your profile, Georgie, what actually stood out was that you were very, very clear with what you had achieved so far. And particularly when it was coming to raising money, you were very clear from the beginning that we just need to strip this back. When you looked at my deck that I had been presenting, you were very clear that there was actually too much information. I couldn't have done it without you, Georgie. I could not have done what I am here where I am so far because of all the support that you have given me. So you need to work out what you can do and what you can't do. And then you need to make sure that you have a team around you that can support you in what you can't do and who is aligned on what you're trying to do and understands your business. That is actually critical. You can't have a team around you that doesn't understand what you're doing.
All right. First of all, thank you very much for jumping on this meeting. Obviously, it's been amazing to work with you, and we've worked on your pitch deck, we've worked on your financial model, and some other things as well. So I just have a few questions for you today, and then I'll let you go, okay? So first of all, you came to us with a deck you'd already pitched to a broadcaster and had not really been able to close a deal with them. In your opinion, what was missing and what made you decide to try a different approach with the materials?
So I did quite a bit of research over people, organisations that could help me with presentations for not just broadcasters, but to all interested parties. It could be to the rights holders or to federations. And when I came across your profile, Georgie, what actually stood out was that you were very, very clear with what you had achieved so far. And particularly when it was coming to raising money. And what I really, really liked was that there's this tendency with someone that isn't a professional in this field to give too much information. And you were very clear from the beginning that we just need to strip this back. When you looked at my deck that I had been presenting, you were very clear that there was actually too much information and that we could actually present the facts cleaner, succinctly, and that would engage an investor or an interested party. And you were right
That's
from the
how.
beginning. It was right from the start. And you know what I found quite interesting is that when I produced the presentation, excuse me, when I produced the presentation, I always found that people gave me feedback and they would say, you know, you could change this, or if you change that, that would work better, or perhaps even the colouring of, you know, the shade, the tone. But what I found with yours was from the beginning, nothing. No, there was nothing that could improve. And I would actually say to the people that I would send it to, do you think there's anything else that I should include? How could I improve this? Because you have to, when you're doing a startup, you have to actually keep on asking for advice. You have to keep on, you have to, it's a very humble start, isn't it, when you're doing a startup? You're coming from nothing, so you have to trust who you're being guided by. And you were very, very honest from the beginning about what I needed to do and what I didn't need to do. And the deck was always there was a master deck, and then it was adapted for individual parties. You know, I would say to you, this is who I'm pitching to next, and you would say, okay, well, we can adapt it to this. This is what we need. This is what we can take out, and we would take it from there. So yes.
Sure. Yeah, and I would even agree that's especially true at pre-seed level, pre-seed stage where you're kind of pre-revenue, pre-launch, pre-traction. So those like additional feedback and kind of expertise really plays a huge role in that. So thanks for pointing it out, honestly. Now, ShePlayz is tackling something genuinely underserved, women's sports media in the Middle East, right? So how do you explain that opportunity to sponsors, advertisers, and investors who may never have thought about that audience before?
So I did a lot of research before I came into ShePlayz, because my background is in sports media, and I strongly felt from the research that the only reason that women's sports didn't do better was purely because it wasn't shown. And when it was shown, the return of investment was so much higher than it is for men's sports, purely because men's sports is very established, very saturated. And I knew that the opportunity was there. So in the Middle East, there is a lot of investment going on into women's sports from grassroots upwards. There's a lot of sporting events that are being held in the region. The infrastructure is being built around sporting events and for women's sports. So I really felt that, that the eyes were on the Middle East. There was already an interest there. And when you looked at the data around women's sports in the Middle East, like if you look at the viewing statistics for the FIFA Women's World Cup, I found it fascinating that in the top 10 countries, two of the top 10 countries that viewed the FIFA Women's World Cup were Saudi and KSA. And I thought that that was an incredible statistic, and it gave us confidence that if we launched something in the Middle East, there would be interest there.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Now, you've been working through friends and family around financial modeling, investor emails, cap tables, all while running the business, right? What does it actually feel like to navigate fundraising as a solo founder in a space that doesn't have a clear playbook?
I will say from the off, I couldn't do what I was doing, what I am doing without you. I often say in my meetings, we, and I say there is no we really, because it's me and a team of people, but I rely on you and Nico to help me. When it comes to the financials and the presentation, especially because that's not my forte. I didn't come into this with a financial background. I came with this into this knowing the area and the space. So raising the money and all the various different rounds is very alien to me. But it has been so reassuring that I can actually just say to you guys, what is the difference? What should I be doing? How should I tackle this? What do you think is my what do you think I should be thinking about when I go into this meeting? And it's been I couldn't have done it without you, Georgie. I could not have
Thank you.
done
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I am here where I am so far because of all the support that you have given me.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Um, Now you're presenting to actual investors now, right, and getting real responses back. What's changed in how those conversations feel compared to where you started initially?
So I have to so when I started Friends and Family Round, it's a lot more based on people investing more in me, more in the idea that that women's sports is good. And it's easy to go to certain people and say, hey, I'm planning on doing this, would you like to invest? And it does take you out of your comfort zone, because it's not actually normal to go to people that and say, hey, can you give me money to start a venture? But now I'm actually going to investors and saying, I've proven that there's interest here. Over the past year, we've shown that with what we've achieved, that there's interest, there's demand, there's eyeballs, there's definitely a market. And I'm actually have gone from a startup to a scale up. I'm pre-revenue just, but I think that it is still very, very impressive that I'm 11 months in, and that I'm about to become revenue positive, and that's incredible for a newly started business. So it's a different discussion, because now my discussions with investors are based around the detail of the business, whereas when you're raising money for friends and family, it's more based around the idea, and let's see if
Yeah.
hopefully this will work. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. Now, the last one, and I'll let you go. So, what would you tell another female founder building something in sports or in media who's trying to get their first investors to take them seriously?
I think that you need to recognize what you can do and what you can't do, because I think there's very few people, very, very few people out there that can do everything. And I'm not a financial person. I'm not a person that is massively creative in terms of writing decks. But what I can do is execute. I know all the different areas. So I knew that like I needed to have help with the financials and the presentation. I also knew that I needed to have work on the content proposition, my area. I knew that the go to market, the execution, that was my area. So you need to work out what you can do and what you can't do. And then you need to make sure that you have a team around you that can support you in what you can't do and who is aligned on what you're trying to do and understands your business. That is actually critical. You can't have a team around you that doesn't understand what you're doing. They need to understand the business and why you're doing it, because your why has to be understood by you understand my why, Georgie, right? You understand why I'm doing it. You understand female sports. You understand the gap in the market. You need whoever you work with needs to understand the gap in the market, the reason you're doing it. So they can essentially support you and help you have a 360 of the business, because you might have like a 180, 240, but that you know your team is the remaining part of it.
No, I couldn't agree more. So thank you very much for your time. It's been amazing. Obviously, it's been amazing to work with you to start with, and then for this meeting as well. Thank you for your time. So
no, you're
if there's
welcome.
anything coming up, just let us know, and we'll be more than happy to help you further.
I look forward to continue working with you, Georgie. Take care. Thank you.